So, am audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I'm discussing about your pre-tensioning, post-tensioning. Then I'm discussing about different type of losses. Then in losses, I'm discussing that we face two type of losses. One is immediate losses and one is your time dependent losses. I also bifurcate your immediate losses, that in immediate losses we get losses of elastic shortening, we get losses of friction losses, and also we get anchorage slip losses. Then I'm discussing your time dependent losses. Then in time dependent losses, we get creep losses, linkage losses, and relaxation losses. Then I also discuss the different type of losses which exist or which encountered in pre-tensioning and post-tensioning are your creep of concrete losses, shrinkage of concrete losses, relaxation of steel losses. So just I'm also give you a table. Don't worry, I discuss all these things because these things are important. Here we have pre-tensioning. Here we have pre-tensioning. अभी किसी का क्लास है क्या?
नहीं सर.
No, sir.
Then post-tensioning. So in pre-tensioning, you just remember first, second, third, and fourth. So in pre-tensioning, you remember all the losses due to time dependent losses. So you remember losses due to creep, losses due to shrinkage, losses due to relaxation of steel. Next here we have losses in immediate losses, that is your elastic shortening. So basically elastic deformation of concrete or elastic shortening each also came in your pre-tensioning. So in pre-tensioning you remember all time dependent losses and one immediate losses, and that losses is your elastic deformation of concrete. Next here in post tensioning, you remember your all losses of time dependent. So here it is, I think, grip of concrete. Here it is shrinkage of concrete. Here it is relaxation of steel. Next here it is friction losses. Here it is anchorage losses or anchorage slip losses. And here you have also elastic deformation of concrete. So here we have also all the type of losses. So one by one you read different type of losses in your pre-stress, also in your pre-tensioning, and also in your post-tensioning. So you discuss with madam when time came, that means in RCC1. If it is in RCC1, you discuss with madam these things, and madam will discuss with you all. So these are all from my side for your concrete portion. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So I think it is enough for your model 2 for a structure portion, because in model 2 it is written that you have to be uh, read about load, you have to be read about materials, you have to be read about your concrete, you have to read about your steel. So I am discussing these all the things, but these are all separate topic you study in due course of time. So next thing next thing is some material. That means that material is your cement, that material is your mortar, that material is your admixture. So basically, certain material like aggregate. So you, I think you all have heard this material, or you all have read this material in your third semester, because in third semester civil engineering material paper is present. So you all read these things in your third semester. So it might be possible that if in university examination they also ask some question from cement, because cement be used for making concrete. So might be possible that they ask different types of bulk compounds. It might be possible that they ask you discuss your consistency of cement test. So these are basic questions might be possible for your exam, that the examiner will ask these type of questions. So everything because material is not fixed, they just give, you have to be read load material. So which material are many type of material we use in civil engineering construction. So just from my point of view, you must read different type of cement test or manufacturing of cement. So if you cover cement portion, then I think material part is covered. And if time permit, you also cover mortar, you also cover your aggregate portion, you also cover admixture portions. So it's okay. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think in model 2, only two things is left. One is your cable structure, and last one is your fire protection. So I am discussing today fire protection. Then next week I am cover your model 2 by covering your cable structures. So here fire protections. Fire protection. सबको पता होगा फायर प्रोटेक्शन क्या है. Basically, it is a kind of demand. Fire is a kind of demand. So if we call it as fire demand, so which thing, so basically, if in fifth semester you study about these things, fire demand, fire demand. So in environmental engineering you read about different type of demand. One of the demand is your domestic demand, one of the demand is your industrial demand, one of the demand is your institutional demand, one of the demand is your recreational demand or demand for public use, and next or last demand is your fire demand. So you observe that in environmental engineering we just read about raw water engineering and wastewater engineering. So in discussing your different type of demand, we know for a person, for any household or for any person, domestic demand is needed, because every person will cook food, every person will bath, every person will take certain amount of water per day. So basically that demand is domestic demand. You all know that for running institutional buildings or for running institutes we required water. So for institutional purposes we also required, or for commercial purposes like for your railway station, like hospital, these are the places where also water is required. Next is your recreational purposes, that means in gardens, uh, eh, many places fountains are to be placed, so at that places water is also needed. Also for public use, that means man required water for washing his car, man required water for washing his garden or washing the roads. So basically these are different type of water demand. Last last water demand is our fire demand. So it may be possible that a city having 50 lakh population, that means you heard about in Delhi fire take places, you heard about in Odisha fire take places, you heard about in Jharkhand at certain places fire take place. So basically we see, suppose we have a city and the population of city is 50 lakhs. So for 50 lakhs we know, we at certain places it might be possible that for certain period of time or for certain day fire may be take places. So so here you keep one thing in your mind, that मान के चलो, सोचो कि अगर हमारा डोमेस्टिक डिमांड है, अगर हमको अभी खाना बनाना है लेकिन किसी कारण बस पानी नहीं है, पानी नहीं है, तो हम अपने खाने बनाने के प्रक्रिया को आधा घंटा 1 घंटा 2 घंटा टाल सकते हैं। लेकिन अगर कहीं भी किसी भी सिटी में फायर लग जाए, तो ऐसा नहीं कि अगर अभी आग लगा फिर 2 घंटे के बाद हम दमकल वाले को फ़ोन करेंगे या फिर फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर वाले को फ़ोन करेंगे, फिर वो 3 4 5 घंटा लेके आराम से पान वान खाते हुए मस्ती से वो 2 4 5 घंटा बाद आएगा। ऐसा नहीं है, हमको जितना जल्दी से जल्दी हो सके हमको आग पे काबू पा लेना है, डैट मीन्स हमारे फायर डिमांड को फुलफिल कर लेना है। सो बेसिकली फायर डिमांड का जो हमको, जो इसमें डिमांड फुलफिल करने के लिए जो वाटर देना होता है वो बहुत हाई इंटेंसिटी का हमको देना होता है, क्योंकि मेरा ये कोशिश रहता है कि हमको दिन भर आग बुझाने में ना लगे, हम 2 घंटा में 3 घंटा में जितना जल्द से जल्द हो सके वो हम उसको फायर को अपना एक्सटिंग्विश कर ले या फिर फायर पे काबू पा लें। तो इसके लिए जो हम फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर वाले को फ़ोन करते हैं, तो नाम सुना ही होगा, एक दमकल का गाड़ी आता है। तो बेसिकली उस गाड़ी के बारे में बता देते हैं। वो गाड़ी में 3 नोजल लगे हुए रहते हैं, यहाँ पे एक नोजल, यहाँ पे एक नोजल और एक यहाँ पे एक नोजल। ये तीनों नोजल का क्या काम रहता है कि ये जो नोजल रहता है ये उस पोर्शन पे आग फेंकता है, सॉरी आग नहीं फेंकता, पानी फेंकता है जहाँ पे आग लगा हुआ रहता है। तो बेसिकली जो ये मिडिल वाला जो नोजल रहता है, ये नोजल जो तुम्हारे फायर जहाँ पे होते हैं वहाँ पे पानी फेंकता है। ये जो 2 नोजल होता है वो साइड बाय साइड में तुम्हारा पानी फेंकता है जहाँ पे अभी फायर नहीं लगा है। सो बेसिकली ये तुम्हारे जो भी दमकल का गाड़ी होता है उसका कॉन्फ़िगरेशन या फिर फीचर होता है कि मिडिल वाला नोजल जो है तुम्हारे आग लगे हुए प्लेस पे पानी देगा, ये तुम्हारे साइड बाय साइड जो अनबर्न पार्ट है उसमें इसको पानी को भेजेगा। अब जो इसका रेट होता है, उसका रेट होता है आई थिंक 1100 मीटर क्यूब पर मिनट, या फिर पर कुछ ऐसा ही होता है, पर मिनट, मतलब 1100 मीटर क्यूब इसको पानी को फेंक देना होता है अगर अच्छा तुम्हारा फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर यानी दमकल का गाड़ी है तो। सो बेसिकली यू रिमेंबर और यू हर्ड these things when time came, so you just keep in mind that we have a topic that is fire protection. So what is fire protection? Because we have need of fire demand to just fulfill the demand of our city, because if a city which is a huge city where population is so much, that might be possible that for certain period of time on certain day it might be happen that fire will be burn out or fire will be take places. So we just design or we have certain type of reservoir fitted in that city, or we just design certain type of service reservoir, certain type of water tank to fulfill this water demand, because the we just try to minimize as much as possible this fire burnout or this fire happening process. So these are all your different fire demand. You must study these things in your environmental study, environmental engineering. So my uh, discussion here, my discussion is your fire protection. So what do you mean by fire protection? What are different type of fires? We just read these things in this fire protection. So you just read these slides. So is it visible? Is it visible?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in fire protection, we just read about introduction, classification of fire and construction hazards, planning for fire protection, influence of materials, fire safety design, fire detection and signaling devices, fire alarm system, fire suppression equipments and systems. So you just read these things. Introduction: fire protection is the study and practice of mitigating the unwanted effect of potentially destructive fires. A fire protection system includes device, wiring, piping, equipment, and control to detect fire or smoke, to actual signals, and to suppress the fire or smoke. Objective of fire protection: so primary objective to save lives and protect property. So I think these all things are familiar with you all, because you all heard these things, or you all see these fire happening in your nearby area. So you all know what are the objective of fire protection. So first objective is to save life or property, that you try to कोशिश करो कि जितना से जितना जल्दी हो सके उस आग पे काबू पाया जाए. काबू पाने के लिए भी हम लोग अपना फायर डिमांड को फुलफिल करेंगे, फायर डिमांड चेक करेंगे कितना हमारे इस सिटी में पानी चाहिए. अब उसके अनुसार कहाँ कहाँ आग लग सकता है, इसके लिए जो डिज़ाइन स्पेसिफिक है या फिर जो डिज़ाइन क्राइटेरिया है उसको इन्वायरमेंटल इंजीनियरिंग में देखना. तो एक ओवरव्यू हम बता दिए कि जो तुम्हारा फायर प्रोटेक्शन है बस यहाँ ही काम नहीं आएगा. ये तो प्रोटेक्शन का प्रोसेस है, लेकिन प्रोटेक्शन तब करेंगे जब उसके लिए हमारे पास सब सामान हो. सामान के लिए हमारे पास डिमांड देखना पड़ेगा कि फायर का डिमांड कहाँ है, कितना है, किस सिटी में, क्योंकि सिटी बाय सिटी फायर डिमांड वैरी करते जाता है. हमको पता है कि ये पूरा का पूरा हमारा सिटी है, इस सिटी में 50 जगह हमारे क्रैकर्स का दुकान है. तुमको पता है कि आग लगने का प्रोबेबिलिटी या फिर जो भी प्रोसेस है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. हमको पता है कि यहाँ पे हमारा इतना इंडस्ट्री है, मेरे इस सिटी में आग लगने का प्रोबेबिलिटी इतना है. हमको पता है कि हमारे इस शहर में इतना ज़्यादा जो है इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, तो हमको पता है कि हमारे इस सिटी में फायर लगने का चांसेस बहुत कम है. इसी के बेसिस पे हम अपने फायर डिमांड को डिज़ाइन करेंगे, फायर डिमांड को फुलफिल करने के सारे क्राइटेरिया को सोचेंगे, उसके बाद तो फायर का प्रोटेक्शन करेंगे. तो बेसिकली फायर प्रोटेक्शन में क्या है पता है सबको. फायर प्रोटेक्शन ऑब्जेक्टिव यही होता है कि हम जितना से जल्दी हो सके हम अपने आग पे काबू पा लें. क्यों? क्योंकि हमको ना तो अपने प्रॉपर्टी को जलने देना है, अपने क्या जो भी प्रॉपर्टी जल रहा है उसको ना जलने देना है. और दूसरा ये भी ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि अगर उसमें कुछ अगर लोग या फिर कुछ लाइफ्स हैं तो उनको सेव कर देना. नेक्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव है टू मिनिमाइज interruption of service due to a fire. So basically these are the point, or these are the objective of your fire protection. Next, current trend in building design and modern lifestyling contributing to serious fire hazards. So high rise building become taller and more densely situated. uh, Architectural design, larger area and open spaces, less separation walls. Next is your controlled and indoor environment. Next is your increased use of combustible material. So basically, if we use more combustible material, that means combustible materials are those material which easily burnt out.
So if we use that material, then I just give an example that, for a certain city we have various shops of your crackers, we have various industry. So combustible, from that industry combustible materials is to be manufactured. So we know the chances of fire is so high. So the burning of that area or burning of that places will be frequented from 1 month or 2 month. Fire will be taking place in that particular area. So you just by observing these things, it will be automatically visible, or it will be automatically sensed from you all. So it's not any rocket science. These are very basic things. So classification of fire and construction hazard, classification of fire, fire load, classification of hazards, use or occupancy, type of construction. So what do you mean by fire load? So this is not uh, I think important. So just leave it. Classification of hazards. So it is not just here you see, classification of hazard is not important here. Classification of fire is very much important. So you, according to NFPA USA, the fire is classified as class A fire, class B fire, class C fire, class D fire. So you just remember these things, that class A fire, what do you mean by class A fire, what do you mean by class B fire, what do you mean by class C fire, what do you mean by class D fire. So class A fires of, just wait. Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here you see classification of fire. We have classified fire as class A, class B, class C, class D. But in certain literature, it is also written that we have 6 types of fires. So we have 6 classes of fire. I am writing here. Just this thing is important for your fire protection point of view. So I write these things here. And also different type of fire extinguisher, what are different type of fire extinguisher, this is important. So the class of fire, class of fire. So we have generally 6 type of fires, but in that slide only 4 type of fire will be given. So here you see this fire is as per, this is according to NFPA USA. So it is given by USA standards, but as according to Indian standards, we have 6 classes of fires. So we have 6 classes of fires. Class A, class A. I'm writing class A as not writing so much. Class A. Then next is your class B. Class B fire. Then next one is your class C fire. Next one is your class D fire. Next one is your class E fire. Class E fire. And last one is your class F fire. So we have 5 classes of fires, sorry, 6 classes of fire, starting from A, then B, then C, then D, then E, then F. So you observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So basically we have 6 classes of fire. Class A fire. So class A fire is exist when combustible material, I am saying combustible materials, that means it will be your flammable solids. So generally class A fire will take place in your combustible material. So you just remember these things, that class A fire will occur in your combustible materials. Combustible, CUMBUSTIBLE, combustible materials. So class A fire will be take place in your combustible material. Combustible material is also known as your flammable solids. Its example, class A fire example is wood, in paper, So the burning of wood or the burning of paper is a kind of your class A fire. Next, here we have combustible material, that means we have flammable solids. Here in class B fire, so it is combustible material, it is also, or you may call it as, or flammable solid, flammable, FLAMMA APLE, flammable solids. So it is flammable solids. Next, class B fire. So class B fire will be categorized as your flammable liquid. So all the fire that take place in your flammable liquid is a kind of class B fire. So the example of class B fire is your petrol, diesel, etc. So the fire take place in petrol and diesel is a kind of class B fire, because class B fire is called as uh, the fire that takes place in your flammable liquids. Next, class C fire. So class C fire is take place in your flammable gases. So we have different type of gases. So if the fire take place in that gases, that particular type of fire is categorized as your class C fire. That means you heard about methane. So if the fire take place in methane, that fire is your class C fire, categorized as class C fire, methane, because the fire take place in your flammable gases. Methane, hydrogen. So these are your class C fires. Next one is your class D fire. Class D fire will take places in your combustible metals, only metals, combustible metals, BUS. Here we have combustible material. Here we have metals, combustible metals. That means magnesium, aluminum, potassium. These are different type of metals. So if the fire take place in that metals, or then that fire will be known as class D fire. So combustible, CUMBUSTIBLE. So here combustible metals. So here the example is your magnesium, aluminum, and so many metals. So if the fire takes place in your combustible metals, but the metal may be your combustible metal, we have different metal which are not combustible. So if the fire takes places in your combustible metal, then that fire is known as class D type of fires. So here if fire takes place in your magnesium, if the fire takes places in your aluminum, so it if you see in your kitchen many aluminum utensils is present. So if the fire take place in that aluminum utensils, then you categorize that fire as class D fires, because class D fire is the fire is which is come in picture when combustible metal will be burned. So this is all about class D fire. Next one is your class E fire. So class E fire is when the fire occur in your electrical equipments. So we have various electrical equipment like your I think iron, like your computer, like your generator, like your I think geysers. So you see that your geyser will be burnt out, your computer will be burnt out, your generator will be burnt out, your iron will be burnt out. So basically the fire that exists between electrical equipments, that fire we called as class E fire. Electrical equipments. So that fire is your class E fire. So basically we have here we have example of computer, we have example of generators. So here we have computers, iron, so many things. Computer, here iron. Next and last one is your class F fires. So if the fire exists between your cooking oils, if the fire take place in your cooking oils, that it is possible or it might happen many times that when you cook something in your kitchen, then in that oil, just wait. So many times you see that in your kitchen, if you cook something, that at that time in your cooking oil, the fire will be take places. So here the fire that take place in your cooking oils, that is known as your class F fires. So here we write as kitchen oil, kitchen oil. It is happening or not? Anyone saying? I think कौन बताएगा? अमृता, अपर्णा बताओ, ऐसा होता है क्या किचन में खाना बनाते रहते हो कभी ऐसा, फिर वो जो तेल रहता है उसी में आग पकड़ लेता है, ऐसा कभी होता है क्या?
यस सर, होता है.
Okay, so that kind of fire
Yes.
is no. Okay, so that kind of fire is known as your class F fires. So you just remember these different classes of fire. One of the class is your class A fire, one of the class is your class B fire, one of the class is your class C fire, next is your class D fire, next is your class C fire, next is your class F fire. So you all kept these different type of fire in your mind, and also you all kept I think how or for which material that means for combustible material which kind of fire will take place, for flammable liquid which kind of fire will take place, for your flammable gas which type of fire will take place. So you must remember also these things, and with example you also remember different classes of fires. So here if you see, we have different classes of fires. We have different classes of fire: class A fire, class B fire, class C fire, class D fire. So if you see here, fire of ordinary combustible materials such as wood, cloth, paper, rubber and many plastic, this is categorized under your class A fire. Class B fire, fires in your flammable liquid. I also say this kind of fire is occur in your flammable liquid, that is your oil, greases, tar, oil based paints, like petrol, diesel. I also saying. Next is your class C fires. So class C fire that involves energized electrical equipments. Extinguishing medium must not be a conductor of electricity. So according to NFPA USA, so according to NFPA USA, class C fire defined separately. Class D fire, fires of your combustible metal. I also saying class D fire as per Indian context, it is categorized as your class D fire when combustible metals are burned, such as magnesium, titanium, zirconium, sodium, lithium, potassium. So basically these are different type of fire that take place in India. So according to NFPA USA, we have only 4 type of fire. So no need to keep these 4 type of fire in mind, because I give different type of classes of fire as per Indian context. So you remember class A to class F fire, and you remember class A to class F fire, uh, how they occur. That means when combustible material are burnt, class A; flammable liquid, class B; flammable gas, class C; combustible metals, class D; electrical equipment, class C; cooking oils, class F. Because in many examination they give that cooking oil cause which type of fire. Option A, class A; option B, class B; class C, class D. So these are different type of questions asked in your examination. So it is all from my side. I continue uh, further topic in next session. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
सर मेरा अटेंडेंस नहीं बना है.
Okay, Arjun.